Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
No, that's not Adam West, baby. That's the fabulous one himself. Our brand new Wrestling Insider's Fabulous Fridays begin now.
Is now at peace. His family is now at peace. I'm sure it pulled their heartstrings to see that happen. I watched my own father reach that stage in his life where he was not coherent. He would talk about things. It was just horrible. And you know, there's such a thing as quality of life and quantity of life. If you can have quantity but have no quality, what's the sense?
How would you like Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff to be remembered from generations of fans from now?
Well, they say a fool speaks his mind. I guess that's me. And that's I've done it pretty much, you know. I mean, if somebody said something, or if you don't think something right, don't you think you should be able to say that it ain't right? So if that's being a fool or speaking up when you think something wrong or goes against what you believe or the way your style is or something, you should be able to do it. I never once not did anything anybody ever asked me to do, any promoter. Never. I questioned it, yes. Never have I ever not done what they wanted. Now, I might have done it my way, but it still got done. I did it my way rather than the way they did it to fit me more, because it's me, you know.
Right.
I'm the one that...
You weren't Paul Orndorff. I mean, you weren't a character.
I got to keep my character just like Hogan kept his and Savage and all them. Well, I had to fight a little bit more for mine, and I did.
Unbelievable. A wonderful story, a wonderful career, Paul. Thank you so much for coming back and joining us again so soon. Johnny, Jacqueline. Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
Johnny, the fans just haven't asked for it, they have demanded it.
This August, we're headed back to Tampa for Wrestle House 2.
WrestleMania weekend, we brought you Sinister Minister James Mitchell, TJP, Demolition Smash, Al Snow, Dutch Mantel Zeb Coulter, JTG of Crime Time, and WWE Hall of Famer Gerald Briscoe for in-depth interviews and live interactive cyber autograph signings.
And if you want our Wednesday Night Wrestling Insider Special edition episodes to continue, we need your help to bring these superstars' careers and lives to life.
Bringing you free content 7 days each week is an expensive proposition. Between appearance fees, air travel, renting the house, the equipment, and everything that goes in to a week of shooting, we can't do it without you.
As we prepare to return to producing live and ring events, help us bring you the superstars and legends of yesterday and tomorrow by visiting Indiegogo now and check out some of the great rewards.
Wrestling fans, it's going to be a wild week in Tampa the first week in August. Get ready for Wrestle House 2.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
All right, wrestling fans around the corner, around the world. Johnny, before we even begin tonight, Sunday, a very special day. Of course, it's Money in the Bank down in Corpus Christi, Texas, but we have to send out a very special happy birthday, a greeting to the MWF Junior Ambassador, a man you've met several times over the years, has officially hit the big 1-6. He's not Baby Marty anymore.
Wow.
He's looking forward to Halloween Horror Nights.
So am I. I'll be there. October 25th through 29th, I'll be there.
We're going to maybe even cross paths. We're going to be there the same day.
It could happen.
I might come up to you and go, boo.
I'll be there the 25th. Get in there around, leave here at 7:15. Should be
AM or PM?
AM.
Oh, you're an early morning
Yep,
guy.
should be there by 11.
Yeah.
11:30.
Well, we'll have Linda pick you
Hit
up
the
at
park.
the airport.
Ooh, no need. I use the Universal Shuttle. They pick me up and take me
Oh, they
back.
have a shuttle?
Free, yeah.
Well, you stay at the high-priced
I
ones.
stay at the high price.
I stay at the more moderate Universal hotels, and they don't offer that amenity.
No, that's because you're cheap.
Well, what are you going to do? You know what? You want to know why I got to be cheap? Because of the one we're wishing a happy birthday to. He is not inexpensive.
Then you should do it upright. If it's a birthday, do it upright.
Well, his birthday is in July, not
Right,
October.
that's what you're saying. But you know what? Give him the big bang on Halloween Horror Nights.
Don't give him any ideas.
Oh, stay
Please.
right inside the park and have a hell of a time.
We're going to have a hell of a time. He knows that. Even the senior of the two little Maraudis is going to be coming down for the first time with us as a group since 2003. So that is going to be a very memorable occasion for our unique brood. I don't know. Linda usually is prepared for Halloween Horror Nights year-round as her broomstick is never put away.
Wow. Okay. Moving right along.
Buddy, I don't know if I'll see you on Sunday, but happy birthday. I love you. Unique night in the world of professional wrestling, Johnny. The WWE Universe is back. Tonight on SmackDown, the fans were there live. Yep. I think certainly added to the ambiance of the presentation.
No question about that. It was good to see it. You could see the wrestlers responding to the crowd responding to the wrestlers. We're getting there, slow but sure, but we're getting there.
And for the fans maybe in the local area that haven't heard, WWE Raw returns to the TD Garden Monday night, September the 13th. It's going to be kind of lousy, Johnny. It'll be the first event in that building since it opened in 1995 I have missed because I'll be at the Cauliflower Rally Club in Las Vegas.
I may be in Florida.
You may be in Las Vegas.
Either one, we'll see.
Well, hopefully our little MWF helpers will be there passing out flyers. I think that's a great way to let fans that may not be familiar with this program know. Maybe we could do a two-sided card, one about the event and one about the talk shows.
Well, if the boy wrestles, I'll have to be there.
Who's the boy?
John Cena Jr.
You may be the only person that could get away with calling a man with such muscles the boy.
Believe me, if he can call me the old man, I guess I can call him the boy.
The fruit of your loins.
There's 5 of them. Love each one of them.
Well, and Majjo loves your loins.
Heard that, Moniz?
Majjo loves your loins. No, it's going to be great to have wrestling back here in Boston. I only wish I could be there live. But you know what? The quote-unquote other guys are going to be in town. They had to switch their date to just pre-Halloween bash, Wednesday, October the 27th at Agganis Arena. It's going to be AEW Dynamite LIVE Live.
I'm
you know,
ready.
maybe you can wear a Halloween costume. And
When are they coming in?
Wednesday, October 27th.
I won't be here.
Oh, that's right.
Halloween Horror Nights.
Well, that'll be the day after I come back. So you know what? I'll bring a sign, and I'll say I'm John Cena Sr. for Halloween.
Whatever you want.
All right.
It's easy enough to do. Justin Roberts text me. Was hoping I'd be there.
Oh, really?
I didn't have the dates, so now I
Oh,
won't be
that's
there.
too bad.
Yeah.
I think you really would have
Well, they asked me.
enjoyed a different experience than you're used to from WWE. But
Well,
they'll be back.
I'll be getting Moni scared, so
All right. Well, and Majjo.
we'll see.
All right. And that, well, I won't even go there. But there was that
don't
other
go
one.
there. Don't even go there.
She looked like the Halloween Horror Nights year round.
Thank you.
That's all right. That's all right. That's why you're fabulous and she's not.
That's right.
That's right. All right, Johnny, on to the world of professional wrestling. Jokes aside, birthday greetings aside, a very sad time for us. Like I told you yesterday, it felt like a baseball bat to the gut when we learned of a man we were just talking about on one of the recent episodes and across our Wrestling Insider family of programs, the passing of Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff earlier this week. Johnny, a man we had right in this very studio. He was right in that very chair you're in right now. We did an individual in-depth interview with him. We did that great, one of my favorites of all time, that big WrestleMania 1, mid-'80s WWF Boom Roundtable, me, you, wrestling historian The Jackal, who's also passed away, along with Paul, Cowboy Bob Orton, and the Iron Sheik. That was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun at Kowloon afterwards. I don't think you joined us, though. I think you had to dash off
I had to go
a little early for that one. But, you know, again, it probably comes off as a cheap plug, but if you want to enjoy them, they are available on our streaming service at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling, where for just a couple bucks, you get access to hundreds of studio shoot interviews just like that with Paul. Great way to remember him, maybe get to know him in ways you didn't before. his background in football, different injuries that he suffered breaking into professional wrestling, the old school way, you know, cleaning toilets with a toothbrush. The career he had in the territories before moving on to WWF, going to WCW, the extreme injury that he suffered in WWF that caused the atrophy in his arm, which didn't leave him the same Paul Orndorff that he was before, which I know affected him. And then once his time came to an end in WCW, went on to become a heck of a trainer at the power plant in WCW before WWF ultimately bought them out back in 2001. But Johnny, again, as I said to you yesterday, the heart hurts. But as usual, you had a response that resonated.
Well, I basically said, you know, I guess my response was pretty simple, that a lot of us feel bad, feel hurt by the loss. A brother passes away. We're all saddened by that. A great superstar, a Hall of Famer, passes away. But I say to you, knowing Paul Orndorff after that interview, take a look at the tape you sent me from YouTube. That was not Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. That
You're
was
talking
a man,
about the recent video.
Yeah, that was a man that was hurting, a man that was sort of in another dimension. And you know, as much as we love people, we have to sit back and look at what's happened, where we are in this journey. And my thing would be, Mr. Wonderful would not want to continue on a journey that way. God in his infinite wisdom, who does not will death, who cries, who weeps when people die, knows when a journey is over. Paul's work here was finished. And when it's finished, it's time to go home. Life is a race. It's a race for the end. The end is the ultimate, in heaven and glory. And there's only one winner when you get there. That's God. Jesus takes care of everyone. So Paul Orndorff ran a hell of a race. He reached the finish line, and now there's no question in my mind about it. One of the greatest that I know, along with some of the other greats, is now at peace. His family is now at peace. I'm sure it pulled their heartstrings to see that happen. I watched my own father reach that stage in his life where he was not coherent. He would talk about things. It was just horrible. And you know, there's such a thing as quality of life and quantity of life. If you can have quantity but have no quality, what's the sense? Yeah. And so Mr. Orndorff, in his own mind, made a decision, I believe, that he had to leave. It was time to go. But let us not dwell on death. Let us dwell on what he left us. Let us dwell on the smiles he brought to our faces, the villain that was in the ring, the man that spoke at the Hall of Fame in 2005, I believe, the man that did the very thing here. It's a celebration of life. That's what keeps the person alive, regardless of where he is. We all know. But celebrate that. Think about the smiles. His own son said, "You know Mr. Wonderful, but you don't know my dad." Big heart. He'll always be dad, papa, papa. You will never know this man who loved me more than he probably should. But you know what? That says a lot for the man that we knew, the WWF, WWE, and WCW. Rest in peace, Paul. The glory is yours now.
Well, you know what I think would be fitting, Johnny? If we give him the old salute there.
No problem with that.
Grab one, brother.
I'll grab
one. No, one of these.
Fabo Pop?
Of course.
Sure.
To Paul Orndorff and a life well lived, salute.
Salute.
A man's man. I really enjoyed getting to know Paul. You know, what really, and you know the wrestling deaths bother me an awful lot, especially when it comes to someone that we knew and worked with. But if you look at that original lineup for the Back to the 80s WrestleFest, a Saturday night, November the 13th at Memorial Hall in Melrose down the street, you know, 2 of the 8 featured superstars are gone now. You know?
Yep, we lost the Animal, and now we lose Paul Orndorff. But you know what? I just sit back and I get
2 good men.
Yeah, but I kind of, you know, I sit back and I look at the Lion King, the opening of the Lion King. It's the circle of life. One day, Simba, this will all be yours. And so think about it. We have to concentrate on the fact that we will have a circle of life, that each one of us will finally go wherever it is we go. I believe there's a heaven and I believe there's a hell. That's just what I believe. You may believe something else, but that circle of life is so true. And be like Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Live each day as though it were your last. Enjoy and appreciate those who are with you. Children, parents, embrace, love, care, lie together, cry together, dine together. Because you never know, as I say to everyone, life is like a candle. It only takes a gentle breeze to extinguish the flame. So remember, I kind of look at different things, but that opening of the Lion King, I'll never forget that. It's the circle of life. And as long as we're part of that circle, we need to enjoy it. We need to convey joy. We need to convey happiness. We need to be there to reach out and support and help, which Paul did. Always. Never did I ever hear Paul Orndorff say no, as long as I knew him, ever, to anyone. So we need to take that as an example. The body is gone. You can never take away the spirit, which is the life, the soul of the person we know. And the memories he leaves us with, those will be with me and those of us that knew him forever. So let us not weep, but maybe have a little bit of rejoicing, because a man in pain and agony is now at peace with Jesus, our Lord in heaven. I believe that. You may believe something else, but whatever it is you believe, the man is now at peace. Please, you have to understand.
And you know, Johnny, I didn't care for the comment, but I gave it a lot of thought when a fan insulted me online during one of our shows, when they said it almost sounds like I was trying to pitch death when it came to our 20th anniversary event, November the 13th. And you know what, for someone that doesn't know me, maybe I can understand where they're coming from, but you know, we're not trying to pitch death. It's just the matter of fact of when you have the opportunity to attend a fan reunion, a fan fest like this, you never know who's not going to be around for the next one. We say that at the Cauliflower Alley Club every year, which is a nonprofit organization that raises money to help out wrestlers in their times of need, to help with sometimes afterlife expenses. CauliflowerAlleyClub.org. It rotates on the graphic on the YouTube version of this program. You never know which, and Harley Race, I think, as a matter of, was the first person who I heard use that phrase. You never know who's not going to be here next year. That's why I like to go to all of them. And you know what? What Harley said is very true. When it comes to what we're going to have on November 13th, we're going to have a plethora of legends from what I consider to be one of the great eras of professional wrestling. But you know what? If we do it again for a second time, who knows who might not be able to be there from the first. Look at the original lineup we had just a year and a half ago. 2 out of the 8 are gone. You know, it's tough. But we got the cue in the back from Howard Miller. Johnny, any final memories of Mr. Wonderful? Hulk Hogan's greatest drawing heel opponent in WWF. They had a house show in Toronto that was so hot, they wound up having to move it to the baseball stadium, and it drew 65,000 plus for a house show for Hogan and Orndorff. That, my friends, is a hot program.
That is a good memory. There you go. No, I think I basically said it all, and I concur with what you're saying. I remember doing an autograph signing in Rhode Island. I was down there with one of the legends, Chief Jay Strongbow. And it was funny.
I remember that.
Yeah, we had some great conversations, Chief and I. He talked to me about Fabo Pop and some other stuff. And 2 weeks later, there's no Chief Jay Strongbow. So Dan doesn't push death. I know him. He might push a lot of other BS, but he doesn't push death. And I'm on his side this time. You know what? This is an opportunity for all of us who love this business, all of us who love professional wrestling, to meet the legends, the men and women who built what it is today. Because you know what? I'm only going to close with this. It is the circle of life.
All right, wrestling fans, again, you know, the tickets to the big event are going to be on sale to our Patreons on Sunday, Money in the Bank Sunday, and then to everybody on Friday, August 6th. You'd hate to say, geez, and I'm not going to mention any names and almost curse them, but I love wrestling legend X. And then, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll see him next time. Say you were a Paul Orndorff fan, and the last time you had a chance to meet him, you missed it. You're not going to get that chance again. That's why even things like, just to shy away from what we do, an event like WrestleCon, WrestleMania weekend, you never know who is not going to be there the next year, and it's inevitable. I mean, it's going to happen. You're going to lose some people every year. So when you have the opportunity to, and even if you don't live in the Boston area, if you have the opportunity to attend a reunion, a Hall of Fame ceremony, like what we do with the Cauliflower Alley Club out in Las Vegas, and I know there's a new Hall of Fame that's going to be opening in New York sometime soon. Take advantage of those opportunities, because you never know when it might be the last chance to get that picture, to get that autograph, to have that moment. You'll never forget with that wrestler to say what they meant to you. So just keep that in mind. That's what we're trying to quote-unquote sell. Memories, experiences that will last a lifetime with you, not something morbid trying to take advantage of a precarious situation. But with that said, right now we're going to take a brief time out. We'll be back with more Wrestling Insiders in just a moment. The World Wrestling Federation was live in San Jose, California, Friday, July the 16th, 1999. In the opening contest, WWF Tag Team Champions, the Hardy Boys, retained the titles over Edge and Christian. WWF Hardcore Champion Al Snow retained the title over Steve Blackman and Hardcore Holly. WWF Intercontinental Champion Jeff Jarrett retained the title over Test. The Rock beat the Big Boss Man in a nightstick match. D'Lo Brown with the win over WWF European Champion Mideon in a non-title match. The Big Show defeated The Undertaker via disqualification. Road Dogg victorious over Billy Gunn in a dog collar match. The Godfather beat Prince Albert. Kane and X-Pac with the win over the Acolytes. And in the main event, WWF World Champion Stone Cold Steve Austin retained the title over Triple H via disqualification. If you were in San Jose live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and on our world-renowned Patreon streaming service, so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston wrestling sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Wrestling fans, I'm Dan Marati.
And this is the man of the hour, Leo Rush.
It's all over BostonWrestling.com and our social media. But Leo, brother, they got to check out some of this merch.
They got to.
Check it out, fans, right now, available on eBay. Support Wrestling Insiders and keep wrestling legends working on eBay. Get this limited edition Bailey autographed Rob Schamberger out print, one of only 50 made. A great addition to the collection of any Bailey fan, direct from WWE. Also comes with a mystery autograph photo and an on-air shout-out from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas on Wrestling Insiders at your house. Get it now. Wrestling fans, especially here in the Boston area, we want to thank our great friends at Red Rose for their support for all of our charitable endeavors and programming efforts. Red Rose is 2 years young and extremely thankful for all the support they've had from our neighbors here in Melrose and beyond for an amazing first 2 years. Red Rose thanks Melrose and all of the first responders who have fought the good fight and have never given up hope during these unprecedented times. We did it together. Follow Red Rose on Facebook for their anniversary special, facebook.com/Red Rose Melrose. You'll be glad you did. Open until 2 a.m. Red Rose will give you fresh, piping hot, mouth-watering food that'll put an ear-to-ear smile on even the toughest critic's face. Check out their full menu online at redrosema.com or give them a call, 781-620-1889. All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to Wrestling Insiders as we continue to talk about the latest, the greatest in the world of the King of Sports Pro Wrestling. Dan Marati along with the debonair John Cena Sr., the man that makes the ladies go, ooh la la, especially a certain French woman on a reality show on the USA Network.
Moniz Loft has got a TV show?
No.
We get the Moniz Loft Challenge
You're
coming
close,
up.
you got the M. But it's
uh,
not Moniz, it's Marjo.
Moniz Loft Challenge in Ogunquit is coming up. She said to me if I dropped her off in Ogunquit, she could get a ride back to my home in West Newbury. Challenge accepted. So
really,
get ready, folks. If you're in Ogunquit, go to be in that area. Hopefully, I'll be able to give you the date when it's going to happen. It's a challenge. Cena never, ever turns down a challenge. So it's the Moniz Ogunquit Challenge. It could be you.
Is this a real thing now?
A lucky wrestling fan that might be the one to drive Miss Moniz back, or I've already said, drive Miss Moniz back, and who knows, have dinner with Fabo, Moniz, and yourself.
Maybe Tony Atlas can show up in
I'd
the
love to have
Sanford
Tony Atlas there.
Sunmobile.
Love to have it. Love to have
Dear
it.
Lord.
Yep.
You want to know, I actually, not to get back on the Paul Orndorff kick, but because he had a pass with Paul, and I know he's not really an internet guy, I texted Tony to let him know, and I said, isn't life too short? And how I ended the text. And of course, no response. But
that's okay. Let it go. Like I said before, let's talk about positive. Let's not bring negative to the fans. You know what? It is what it is. It happened. It's over. It's done with. Let's move on. We've got big things to tell the fans. We've got more news to give them. Let's move on.
I still think it'd be a hell of an episode of Judge Judy. Could you imagine Tony and I walking in with Judge Judy? Talk about must-see TV. Imagine Judy yelling at me and Tony. I think that would be hysterical.
Well, first she'd throw you out.
She'd throw me out? Why?
Throw you out. And Tony, just to make a comical comment, fans, he wouldn't be able to eat chicken wings while he was standing there.
He'd probably want Judge Judy to walk on him.
Oh, God. Moving right along, fans. But anyway,
All
see
right.
how we're having fun.
We try and have a little fun along
Tony.
with some serious subjects to go along with it. But we talk about health problems, Johnny, I'm sorry.
No.
What about the veteran from the Double Cross Ranch in Amarillo, Texas? Another individual that has hit certainly some difficult times in 2021. A man who you have to say really overdid it during the body of his career. If you look back at some of the things he did in his 50s in Smoky Mountain and in ECW and in Japan, it's mind-blowing.
I have some of those tapes.
I mean, you go back to just the style that he worked and the schedule that he worked as the NWA World Champion all the way back in the 70s. And then in his 50s, he's doing landmine matches in Japan with Oneida.
Yep.
The infamous IWA King of the Death Match tournament where we finished the tournament with Cactus Jack in 1995. Some of those barbed wire matches that he did in ECW.
Staple matches, thumbtacks, nails. Him, Sabu, and Foley have set the bar for these crazy...
Way too high.
Yeah. And
Way too
you'll
high.
never be... And you know what? Terry Funk, I had a chance to work with him. Honorable, what a hell of a guy. I got to tell you something. You know you work with Terry Funk because he's the real deal. Let me tell you. I can tell you. He was kicking me and he was kicking me. But you know what? It was an honor and a privilege. What a wonderful human being. And what a knowledgeable man about the business. I tell you,
yeah.
we chatted for
He
hours.
grew up in it.
We
I mean, he
chatted-
was born into the
Yeah,
business.
we
His father
chatted
was
all the time. And it was great. And to see that news where now he's suffering from Alzheimer's, dementia, oh, mother of God. You know, you're in my prayers.
I've really got to dig into the archives because at one of the Cauliflower Alley Club reunions in Las Vegas, he did a promo for us. But, you know, the one thing, again, I kicked myself. I really wish, whether it have been in studio or even, you know, in maybe a private hotel room in Las Vegas, just the chance to try and book him and sit him down and do a great, even just scratch the surface of a career retrospective with someone like him that has done so much in every promotion around the world, literally. A missed opportunity and one that I regret.
Well, there's a man that gave his body, heart, and soul to this business and to the fans. You know what? Please, let's hope everything goes well. Let's hope things work out well. Certainly in my prayers and the fans' prayers, I know that. All the best to Terry Funk. But once again, that's not the type of news that you, I, and the fans want to hear about. Another legend, another situation. I was shocked when I saw that.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, it's almost where do things really lie right now? Don Morocco on his podcast said that Terry had advanced dementia and was in assisted living. Tommy Dreamer on a podcast appearance he made said, Terry is in an assisted living facility right now, but he speaks to him on the phone regularly. They have coherent conversations, so maybe it's not as bad as it was presented by Don Morocco. Maybe it's something that varies by the day. I don't know enough about the disease, I guess.
I have a friend, her mother has that, and one day you could sit here and it'd be like talking to a college professor. She'll know who you are, talk to you about the weather, the world, the news. The next day you'll walk in and it's like, oh, and who are you?
Really?
Yeah, it's such a horrible, debilitating disease. It strips you of everything, your integrity, your dignity. It's such a sad thing to see a great mind, hers, Funk's, all these other elderly people that I see, and some young folks, to be able to carry on intelligent conversations and then go back in the next day. When I was an orderly at the hospitals and the nursing homes, I'd walk in and it was like, oh, good to see you, John. Hope everything is good. I'll see you tomorrow. Walk in the next day to the room. Hi, Dan. How you doing? Do I know you? What do you? And then there's that angry side.
Yeah.
Where I'm telling you, it's
feisty.
vicious. It's vicious. So just remember that advanced or non-advanced, it's a horrible disease. And I would say that both Morocco and Dreamer are on the right page because Morocco may have experienced that higher end, while our good friend, and Morocco's a good friend also, Tommy Dreamer, a wonderful human being, is experiencing that other side. Unless you live with it and see it, there's no way to tell.
Just sad all around. Again, Terry Funk is a gem when it comes to this business. Even WWE, and sometimes they're even selective when certain people pass away, who they honor and recognize and to what degree. Even they went out on Twitter and sent a kind of a, not a get well, but kind of a motivational tweet to Terry Funk. If anyone is going to get through these tough times, I'm paraphrasing, it's Terry Funk. And I thought that was very classy of WWE to do that.
As Terry Funk would say in his own words, one tough son of a bitch.
Well, isn't it something, though, a brawler, this wild child, again, landmine matches, thumbtacks, fire, any violent device you can think of when he became the hardcore legend in the 1990s. But isn't it funny, though? Think of the fan base that ECW would attract, but all they'd have to hear are the first few lines or the intro. I'm not a musical person, but the introduction to that song Desperado, and it would almost bring them to tears. It was almost like a religious event when Terry Funk would come out, for the old gunslinger ready for one last fight, so to speak.
And he retired and never retired. That's the thing about Terry Funk.
I think he had more retirements than you.
Yeah, well, there you go.
His first retirement, my God, in the early 80s. And fans, if you've never seen it, it is an awesome piece of footage. As far as, have you ever seen his first retirement speech in Japan after the match when he took the microphone and he started screaming, "Forever"? I don't want to ruin it, but fans, look it up it's not a WWE piece of footage. Look it up on YouTube. It's awesome. And I think, I don't have Google next to me, but for some reason 1982 pops into my head. But again, he came back and he tried to get into movies and he'd come back, he'd leave, he'd come back.
He was in movies. He did well.
Oh
too.
yeah, he did.
Well.
Yeah. He'd be what was that, Paradise Alley with Sylvester Stallone?
Yeah, he did well.
And then he had that run in 1985, 86 with WWF. He worked WrestleMania 2. He worked WrestleMania 14 when he teamed right here in Boston with Cactus Jack against the New Age Outlaws in the dumpster match. He had those classic series of matches with Ric Flair and Sting in 1989 in WCW. And one of WCW's great mistakes, they decided to stop using him as an active wrestler and make him a commentator, and then Terry was ready to hit the door at that point. And then, you know, he's someone, he could pick his own shots, where he was such a, not just a legend, but an icon in Japan. He could go and make huge money there anytime he wanted to. And then as the 90s progressed, you know, Smoky Mountain, he's in his early 50s, and he's moonsaulting for the first time. And then he's going on to ECW, and he's having these wild hardcore brawls. He was, in 1994, part of WCW, feuding with not Dusty, but Dustin Rhodes. They did a great angle there, too, if you go back and watch some of the WCW pay-per-views from mid-1994 towards the beginning of 1995. Did it all, seen it all. He had that run in WWF first, which I thought was ridiculous, is Chainsaw Charlie when he came out of the box with the chainsaw. I think everybody knew who it was, and then, which I thought was kind of nice of WWF at that point, he went on to sign a contract with WCW while he was still under contract with WWF. But since they had nothing for him, and he was Terry Funk, they decided to let Terry go on to WCW, and it was almost dead at that point anyway, after a few months of Vince Russo booking. But anyway, you know, I think a trivia note is, I think he was actually Bret Hart's final opponent. Bret had that horrible concussion from that mule kick that he suffered from Goldberg at Starrcade 99, but Bret, being the professional that he is, went on to compete for a couple of more weeks with a serious concussion. And I think the final match, if I remember, it was a hardcore match between Terry and Bret.
Bret Hart.
Yeah, and I don't think that helped the cause for poor Bret.
Well, I can say this, those kicks in the head should be illegal. I'm just telling you, having gone through it, it is not nice. You can say that people lean into them. You can say somebody did the wrong thing. The fact of the matter is, it's dangerous. And, you know, I can only say this, that with Terry, all that stuff that Terry has done, I'm sure that's not helping his brain or his body.
Well, again, I imagine the man is in a heck of a lot of physical pain. You know, sometimes what doesn't feel so bad as you're doing it when adrenaline kicks in certainly hurts the next day. I can only imagine how it hurts a couple of decades later.
Well, he lost his wife the year before, correct?
Yes, very nice woman that would attend the Cauliflower Alley Club every year. I tell you, I think I've told the story on the air before, but one of the quote-unquote maybe mock-out moments of my life was at the Cauliflower Alley Club. There's a TGI Fridays restaurant, open air, in the casino itself. And I don't remember what the circumstances were, but I wound up having dinner with Ken Patera, who is a character and a half. We were talking about the old WWF territory when it was more New England based, and just having some laughs. We talked about him coming here, which we still haven't had happen. And as we were having this nice dinner, Terry Funk walked in, and Terry Funk sat down and he joined us for the dinner. And then it went from me and Ken to Ken and Terry, and I'm just sitting there like, you know, I loved it. It was a great memory. And then maybe an hour or so later, Vicky Funk walked in and she said, "Who wants to dance?" And she was ready to go all over TGI Fridays in Las Vegas. So that was a fun night, a fun memory from a fun reunion. Would still like to have Ken with us, though. He's a gold mine.
Make the call.
He's a treasure. Well, who knows that we haven't. But right now we're going to take a brief time out. We'll be back to wrap up the show. Stand by.
WWE is coming home to Kansas City with Monday Night Raw. WWE is back with Monday Night Raw in Kansas City, Monday, July 26th. Tickets on sale now.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marati.
And I'm John Cena Sr.
Johnny, the momentum here in Boston wrestling continues as we continue to build and build and build. The fans want to know, how do we help? We subscribe to the Patreon, but we see all the great merchandise on that set. Coronavirus may have killed the nightlife, especially for someone like Marty, but our acclaimed eBay store is open 24/7 around the world.
Wow. Check it out.
Arguably the greatest professional wrestler of all time. Get this limited edition collector's autograph print personally signed by two-time WWE Hall of Famer Nature Boy Ric Flair, inscribed 16 times for each of his recognized World Championship reigns. One of only 50 made direct from our friends at WWE. Also signed by original artist Rob Schamberger. Help keep wrestling legends working. Get this awesome Ric Flair collectible for your wrestling collection now.
Cheer! Why, hello! I would ask what was on your mind, but I already know. You want to know what has got my beard looking oh so majestic. And I'll tell you, it's sexy as hell beard care. Coconut oil, vitamin E oil, almond oil, both sweet and bitter, shea butter, it's all natural. Yes, JTG has actually come out with a high quality product. So support your boy by going to sahbeardcare.com and take one step closer to becoming sexy as hell. Cheer. Ooh, cheer. You know?
All right, wrestling fans, welcome back. Before we go, Johnny, I wanted to mention another one of the brothers that passed away. Didn't get a heck of a lot of attention because, you know, probably because he wasn't a WWF superstar in his time, but Chris Youngblood passed away. The famous Youngblood family, the son of Ricky Romero. The entire family received a Cauliflower Alley Club award. For fans that may have be a little bit older, fans of the territories, I'm sure they're familiar with his body of work. Him and Ricky Steamboat were a fantastic tag team down in the Carolinas. He found great success in world class, but maybe his greatest success was in the island of Puerto Rico. I know he was sitting with Tony Atlas. As a matter of, you talk about what's that game, the Seven Shades of Kevin Bacon, or something like that. He was sitting with Tony as Bruiser Brody was murdered in Puerto Rico that night. Isn't that I wouldn't call it a fun fact, but an interesting fact.
Wow, that's another story for another time.
I believe he was talking about doing a drawing of him as everything went down in the shower area with Brody, as Tony has told the stories. So, heck of a career. I know he competed over in Japan, I believe. I might be wrong, but I think he was in some of those all-Japan tag team tournaments that they'd have every October, and just kind of one of those guys that if you were in the business, you'd recognize as a high-quality talent. But again, nowadays especially, if his body of work isn't available through WWE Network, maybe kind of a forgotten son, so to speak. And he should be remembered. And another fun fact, towards the end of his career, this one is kind of fun, he feuded with a very young Steve Williams.
There you go.
And do you know which Steve Williams I'm talking about?
No.
Not Dr. Death.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Austin 316.
Really?
When he had that long, flowing blonde hair.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So that was kind of the tail end of his career. He feuded with the young Steve Austin. He opened his own wrestling academy. So, you know, the young bloods within the industry, they are a very well renowned, very well recognized, well respected family. And you know what? We send a tip of the cap to them as well for the loss of Chris. Again, a very kind of a somber episode, Johnny. I guess we'll have to try and perk things up for the fans next week.
We'll do it.
All right, wrestling fans, for John Cena Sr., I'm Dan Marati. Don't forget, if you're on Patreon, if you were going to be part of the original Back to the 80s WrestleFest event last year, you're going to have a special link available to you on Sunday to get your all-inclusive VIP packages and or general admission tickets for our WrestleFest Saturday, November the 13th at Memorial Hall in Melrose. And then the tickets go on sale to everybody Friday, October the 6th. For John Cena Sr., I'm Dan Marty. We'll see you next Friday night after SmackDown. You and yours be well, good night, stay healthy. Thank you for joining us. Please give the video a big thumbs up, leave us a comment, and subscribe to the channel to enjoy more great content. Don't forget, you can help keep wrestling legends working. Check out our eBay store and join the Boston Wrestling family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling so we can produce more in-depth shoot interviews.